We're going to update the BIOS for the Gigabyte Z490m Gaming X motherboard. I've done a bunch of these. This is kind of like method 2 for this one. This is using the motherboard, a power supply, and a thumb drive to update the BIOS. No CPU, GPU, or RAM required for this method. Alright. So for the thumb drive, we need one that is formatted to FAT32. You can see that. I right clicked on the thumb drive and click properties and it shows me FAT32. I would recommend a much smaller one than I have, preferably like 4 gigs or less would be good, and try and get one that's completely clean. You'll see mine has a bunch of files on it. Alright, let's go get our BIOS and then show you a few things that you need to know about this, because unfortunately nothing is extremely simple. Alright, so this is back in the days where there was only DDR4 RAM, which is good, but there may be other versions of this. If I remember correctly, there might be a Wi-Fi version, and if you have that, make sure you look for that. Alright, and how would you do that? I don't know if they have it, but let's see. Alright, so it looks like there's only one model, which is good. Alright, so we're doing the no Wi-Fi. Alright, and so this search brings back the right one. And just, look at it. Does this look like your I/O shield? Yes, there's no Wi-Fi. The name of this matches, alright, exactly what's on the box. Alright, except for that revision 1.0, but that doesn't matter for this. So there's two places where there's support, up here, down here. We want this one. And alright, a couple things. So one, by doing a BIOS update, you get to see what CPUs this supports and at what BIOS. Alright, so if you're looking to use this motherboard to run a 11 Gen, you most likely need F20 at least. Alright, if you're looking for 10th Gen, it should have been good out of the box for most of these. Whatever the first release was, it might be F4. We'll find out in a second, but this is how you tell what the minimum BIOS revision you need is. Alright, let's jump back over to downloads, and we're going to click on BIOS. So they've kind of stopped updating this one. You see it came out July 2020, and they haven't done anything since November 2025. I don't remember the last one that I updated when that was, but it's been quite a while, so hopefully we're actually updating to a newer BIOS. But without turning on the motherboard with CPU, GPU, and all that good stuff, you won't know what the actual BIOS is that's in it. Alright, so that's one thing. And I could go back and look at the video that I did and figure that out, but you guys won't have access to that. Alright, so F21, we want to click download here. And since this is Edge, it shows up here. If it was Chrome, it would be down here. Regardless, the file is going to end up in downloads. Alright, so there it is on the top. We want to right mouse click. Alright, so that's extract all. And there's our BIOS file, okay? But let's hang on a second. Let's make sure that they don't want us to rename that file to something else like they do for all the other stuff. Alright, so unlike the other ones, there is no unique features manual. So it may just be in here. Let's see if there's an actual BIOS setup section. So sadly, this doesn't tell you much about this. It does say, for how to use this, visit the unique features web page of Gigabyte's website. So that's just like the other ones. So we'll go find that in a moment just to show it to you. But couple things to remember. This is, telling you about Q flash button. So we need to know where, obviously, that is on the motherboard. I'll show you that. But the other place is the dedicated USB port. So let me show that to you. It's actually a little confusing. You can see from this, it's pointing to right in between two thumb drives. So one of those is the actual BIOS. We'll find that out in this video. This is going to be kind of like a, hey, even I'm learning how to do that with this version. On the motherboard, you can see the Q flash button is right here, okay? In case I forgot to call that out. Folks, so unique features doesn't appear to exist. So this is what you're going to do. I wanted to actually show this to you. You have to rename this, alright? So right mouse click on it and eventually you get to rename. You're going to type in Gigabyte BIN, alright? Hit enter. Do you want to change it? Yes. Alright. Now this file I want to copy over to my thumb drive, alright? You want it at the root directory, okay? So what does that mean? Well, this is not the root directory. This is at least a level down or whatever. You want to be right here where this file is, alright? Alright, so now we've got that done, folks. Let's go ahead and take this over to our setup. It is interesting when you have port directions with things like this, how you would expect anybody to actually ever go buy your product again. Alright, so here is our motherboard. And let's make sure we can see everything. So the flash button is going to be here. Okay, we're not going to mess with that yet. We want to plug in our 24 pin. Alright, this can go in only one way. And make sure it is completely plugged in. And that means both sections of it. Okay, so that's in. Now, most of the time the directions say to plug the CPU power connector in. You only need to plug one of these in, if you even have to do it at all, because to be honest with you, I've demonstrated this process works without doing it. But let's go ahead and plug that in. So we only need the 1x8, which is basically split two by 4s, right? Increase the lighting a little bit. Sorry about that, folks. Alright, so we've got this ready. The other thing is to have this energized before you hit the button, okay? Here's our power supply. We're going to go and plug this in, and never mind the fact nobody cleans the carpet down here. So that's plugged into the wall. Now your switch, you see, that's off. This is on, alright? That is currently in the on position. Now we need our thumb drive, folks. And you saw from the picture that it was not clear which one this plugs into. I'm going to go with the top one. If it doesn't work, we'll redo this in a moment. Once again, USB 2.0, formatted FAT32. And here is our flash BIOS button. And so everything's energized. Let's go ahead and depress that. And nothing. Interesting, folks. Move the USB to the down position. You can see there's the one that was in is empty now. Let's go ahead and try this again. nothing again. Very interesting, folks. Very interesting. Do we have a bad power supply? We retried the 24 pin. Go ahead and hit the button again. Still nothing. Alright, so we disconnected the PSU from the motherboard. We're going to try our PSU tester. See if this will fire this thing up. Turn it off first. And that would suck if this is a bad power supply. And nothing. So we'll try a different power supply. Alright, we're trying this again. Different power supply. On position. Still nothing. We should have heard the power come on from the power supply. And folks, it would appear this motherboard's either dead or something else is wrong. Total fail. Thanks for checking out the video. Please like, subscribe.